Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the Nintendo Famicom system. It's time to continue our ascent up Castle Palamecia with Fess, Maxine, Booker, and their friend Rickard. They were trying to find their old friend Leon. He was the guy who accompanied us in the first battle of the game, the one that we lost against those Dark Knights. And he's been missing ever since. Well, it turns out that he was working with the Empire and rose up to the second in command, the Dark Knight position, basically the Darth Vader to the Emperor. So, another way that the game kind of steals off of Star Wars, or borrows off of Star Wars. So, Star Wars itself, of course, borrowed off of, you know, everything else. What do they say? There's nothing new original in the world, it's just learning how to hide it. So, but speaking of hiding, my new little ratties aren't too good at hiding because they're big and chunky. So they were told, the vet told them to stay off the cookies. So unfortunately, the mouse rescue said I should give them cookies every night because that's what they were used to, but they're not going to get it. Now the princess though, she's a little tiny one and she's still able to wiggle around and find her way through holes and stuff like that. So still trying to get her a little bit used to her new brothers. She's still a little skittish of them, but they don't mean to harm her, so they're just more curious, you know. They're like, oh, new rat friend. So I think she's a little intimidated by them because of their size. She is half the size, a little more than half the size of well, I guess the better way to say it is, Bob is more than double her size, and Bub is slightly less than double her size. So she is 358 grams, Bub is 709, and Bob is 752. So he's the big boy. So, but they're my biggest rats ever. So. But hopefully, like I said, they'll lose some weight and calm down as they get exercise here. And now, Mr. Bob here is teasing the princess. He might have been squealing in the background there, so I have to pick him up and get him to stop teasing the girl. Bob's not nice to tease the princess. You're supposed to honor the princess. Why should I listen to you? You're not giving me cookies! I don't have to listen to the vet. I have to honor the vet, too. So. But. Yeah, he's getting other treats. You gotta give him, like, fruits and stuff, so he'll still get a snack, but it'll be a healthier snack. I have to do that with my dog now, because he's losing weight. Because I had to take away all his meat treats. Because he's starting to have some kidney failure. So the protein's a little hard on his kidneys, so yeah, gotta do what the vet says, you know, gotta keep the kiddos healthy. So yeah, the animals are my kiddos. So but get Bob and Bub here a little bit more used to me. So they're pretty decent with people though, they're not that bad. So they were, like I said, handled at the mouse rescue. They just gotta get used to being handled by me. So, but slow process, but you know, I guess I have experience with it. And this is weird. The princess, she was running away from Bob the entire time, and now I have Bob on my lap, and of course she climbs up because she wants to be petted. And she runs up and she sees Bob on my lap. She's like, "Oop, gotta run away." So, ugh. Silly princess. So, yeah, she's not taking the new rats as well because she wants all Dad's attention. Now I have to split it amongst 3 of them, so. But at least as I'm holding Bob back here, she's coming up and sniffing him, so maybe she can sniff no harm on him. So, I don't know what the ratties smell. But, yeah, they definitely use their sniffers figure out a lot of things. So, unlike us who use our eyes, the sniffers are the ones for the rats. So, here's a new enemy, the Shadow, and it's lucky that he guards this treasure chest, because otherwise he is a 1 in 64 encounter in the desert outside of the castle. The only other 1 in 64 monster is the Iron Giant, which is kind of like the war mech of this game, the super boss. The random encounter that acts as like a super boss. And it took me over an hour and a half to find him. So, yeah, spoiler, I have all the videos done. I just have to, marry audio and put like the text that I do, like to show the monster stats in them for the remaining videos of the playthrough. But to find the Iron Giant, like I said, I used a different save, because otherwise, like I said, otherwise I have like an hour and a half of basically grinding. It will go against the whole point of, the playthrough that I'm doing, to show that you don't really need to grind to, beat this game. So, I just did a thing, and I'll just marry that one into the actual video when the time comes. I'll be like, hey, this is the floor where you can find the Iron Giant, and here's where I found him. So, but that'll be in a little bit. So, we still have quite a bit to go in this castle here. It's kind of the Mysidia Tower, where Mysidia Cave, where there's a lot of floors that we have to get through. So, several episodes to finish this dungeon off. But we just finished off that monster there, and the item that we got there was the Thunder Spear, and the Thunder Spear can cast Thunder 5 when used in battle. So that's not that good though. It's a pretty strong spear, but not very good right now because, or at least the effect of it, the secondary effect. Because remember, when you use an item in battle, it divides the power by 4 as if you're multi-targeting. So it's really like a Thunder 1.25 spell. So even against enemies that are weak against Thunder, it wouldn't deal too much damage. So, yep, not all that good. I mean, it's a good weapon to use, but if you have a spear user, because it has a good attack power, but not so much for its secondary effect. But it's still, like I said, second to the best, I guess, spear. The only one better is the Holy Spear. I think we can actually get a Holy Spear in here. A lot of enemies in this area drop the endgame level equipment that we'll find in treasure chests in the next dungeon. So you can get some stuff a little bit earlier, like from these generals. So they drop rune axes, and which is the best axe. The dragon mail, which is the armor that we're going to want to have Booker on eventually. So that basically protects against the lightning, ice, fire, and scourge spells. And then the other 4 elements, mind, matter, body, and death. He'll get a shield in the next dungeon that'll protect against them. So yeah, Booker got good enough evasion and agility that he can start wearing the heavy armor. So you want to build up your evasion early on in the game, when all the heavy armor basically has no good defensive properties. It just gives straight defense. So then that way you have built up enough agility and evasion that when you start getting heavy armor that does protect against statuses and elements, you can wear it without much penalty. So yeah, Booker will be having heavy armor, and he'll still have, 7 times 99% evasion, which is 7 chances of 99% to evade a physical attack. So evasion is king. And that, of course, is derived from your agility, which means that agility in this game is king. Which is very similar to Saga 1 and Saga 2. Which were the Final Fantasy Legends 1 and Final Fantasy Legend 2 that I played on this channel. So, in that game, the first thing I always wanted to build up was agility, because it determined your hit percentage with both agility weapons and strength-based weapons. It determined the turn order in battle. It determined stuff like ambush rates and stuff. So, just like in this game, you know, if Fess had a low agility, we'd be getting ambushed a lot. But because Fess has a high agility, we are actually ambushing a lot. So, ooh, took an extra step there. It always costs you that, like one extra step, at least with my luck. I'll be like one step away from getting a treasure chest and I'll get into a random encounter. I'm like, no! But, yeah, it always seems that way. Oh, speaking of ambushes, I just got ambushed here. Wonder why. So, like I said, I think there's like, you know, some random thing where it takes the enemy's agility and your agility and then probably rolls an extra number, you know. So, you know, there's always the rare occasion where you roll a 1 and they roll a 20, to go back to D&D terms. So, but of course, raising your agility helps, you know, reduce the chance of that oddity occurring. So, now this is odd, but no, I guess not really. But yeah, now I have Spartacus on my lap because he's scared of the rats. I had Bob on here earlier, and Princess climbs up on my lap again because she wants the attention. And she is totally not as scared of Spartacus, even though she weighs like a pound and Spartacus is like 5 pounds. He's 5 times as big as her, but she's not scared of the Spartacus dog. Yeah, I have a rock, paper, scissors, triangle thing. Guinevere is scared of the boys, who are scared of Spartacus, who is scared of Guinevere. It's a good thing Spartacus doesn't see Guinevere. Spartacus is looking at the new boys running around on the floor, and Guinevere's on my left. Spartacus is looking over to my right. So, I'm purposely keeping Guinevere away from his line of sight so that he doesn't get spooked and growl. They like to get very vocal when I try to do these videos. So, but I think that's how kids always are, ain't they? Like human kids. They're like, oh, mom and dad are busy doing something. Let's make noise. So, I don't think I was that bad when I was a kid. I did some bad things, of course, but mainly because of childhood thinking. My big one was my mom used to bake cakes to bring in some extra income, and if the cake fell in the oven, then she couldn't sell it, and then we would just eat it. You know, she'd throw icing on it, and we'd eat it. You know, kind of smush, but you know, who cares? It's a snack. And she'd always say, you know, like we couldn't play in the kitchen because that would increase the chance of the cake falling. So one day, like I was like, thought to myself, I was like, wait a minute, if the cake falls, I'll get to eat it. You know, I had no concept of money. And so I went in the kitchen and was jumping up and down, and of course my mom heard me, she ran down, saw me, and she's like, what are you doing? You know, and I'm like, I'm trying to make the cake fall, Mom, so that I can eat it. And I got a paddling, but... and then after that, though, my mom decided, you know, every time she baked, she'd bake some extra batter. She'd make some extra batter and make a thing of cupcakes, so I wouldn't have to worry about the cake falling. I'd get, you know, cake in the form of cupcakes no matter what. So, I guess all worked out in the end. So, good old cake. We just had a cupcake wars at my old boss's new job. She became a realtor. She retired from her job and then became a realtor. And whatchamacallit, after that, she's still in touch with my other boss, and they had cupcake wars, so they raised like $8,000 for I think CHKD, Children's Hospital of the King's Daughter, which is a thing that helps like kids with, you know, diseases. So it's a hospital for them. So, but I'm a big fan of the. You gotta have buttercream icing. Don't like the whipped icing. So, ugh. That's my one thing. Cakes has to have buttercream. Cakes and cupcakes, buttercream. Although I think my all-time favorite cake was the chocolate with peanut butter icing. That was some good stuff. My cousin loved that too, so every time he has his birthday, he's guaranteed to have that. So, my cousin was really good at games, so he plays, him and his wife played all the Final Fantasies, so, but they play all of them, like even the new ones that came out, like up to 15, so, yeah, I stopped at 8, but that's okay. 8 is more than enough. Well, I only have 7. I only have 6 of them. 7 if you count the After Years, which was the sequel to Final Fantasy IV. So, I just have one for the Nintendo Famicom, and then the Super Nintendo and Super Famicom. So, but more than enough. So, I got some useless Saint Spirit. That's the one that increases your spirit to 99. 99, but only for that one battle. So at this point in time, like, your stats are probably all the way up there, so I thought I should have talked about it a lot long ago, but yeah, items, I just looked up the percentage breaks of all the different items. So, like, that's Saint Spirit, Sage's Wisdom, Arctic Wind, they'll always break 100% of the time. Some items don't, like we got that Wind Flute on the last dungeon, that has a 20% chance to break. That Gaia we could have bought a long time ago, only 5% chance to break. Garlic, 50% chance to break. The Unicorn Horn that cures temporary status ailments, 10%. Hermes Shoes, 10%. Those Bacchus wands that I'm gonna be putting on Booker there, they always break. But the Spider Silk, Hourglasses, Slow and Stop, 50% chance. Death Idol, which does Fear, 10% chance. And then the Hellfire, the Fire 5 only has a 10% chance. The other stuff like that Sleep Glass that we just got, past Sleep 16, but 100% chance to break, so. The different items have different break chances, so that's why sometimes you might use an item and you'll still have it in your inventory. Other times you'll use it just once and it'll disappear. So, like I said, it's all a numbers game. It all depends on what the computer, the hardware decides to, what number it pulls out of its calculating tool. Its random number generator. So that's where there's that pun, the RN Jesus. It's like the G sounds like the beginning of Jesus. So we pray to RN Jesus for good luck when we're doing something difficult where we want the odds to favor us. So, but I think if you play the game smart enough, you don't have to really worry about odds too much. So, if you play your cards right, it doesn't matter what the odds are. So, well, alright, let's head up this way here. Head over to the left again to grab some more treasure. This is going to be the cane room. We're going to get into a room with a whole bunch of magic staffs. But we don't have a staff user. But if you do, you get a variety of staffs to use here. Staffs are kind of like knives in the sense that they're basically designed for wizards and mages to use because they have low magic penalties. Another throwback to Dungeons and Dragons, where mages basically only used staves and knives, because in that game they were considered simple weapons, and mages only had proficiency with simple weapons, where like fighters would have like proficiency in all weapon types, including like exotic weapons like flails and stuff like that. So there were different weapon tiers in that game. So another throwback to Dungeons and Dragons. Look. All the monsters, of course, basically except for the robot monsters from Final Fantasy I, were pulled from the Dungeons & Dragons Monster Manual, including these Lamias. I'll have to go back and look at that. Well, I don't have it, but if I did, I'd have to go looking back to see what's a male Lamia called. Because all the Lamias we ever run into are all females. Or they might be one of those weird races that are only unisex, where they procreate by like stealing another like kid or something like that and like magically transforming it. So kind of like I guess how the goblins were in Labyrinth. Which just castle's kind of like a big labyrinth. There's all these, you know, ways to go. That was a good movie. David Bowie, where they kidnapped the kids and turn them into goblins if they weren't rescued in time. I guess it was like that. So here's our cane room. Let's see what canes we got. A healing cane, wizard staff, and a mage staff. So, like I said, we will not be using any of those canes, but they all have special properties that cast different things. The healing cane can be pretty useful. It really does a lot of damage to undead, and if you hit yourself with it, you can actually heal yourself. But of course, we have nobody who uses staff, so our staff accuracy is so bad compared to our evasion that it's pointless. So, well, we'll pick up here on our next episode. Take care. Thanks for following along. Bye.